This is an art collage novel video. I made this series so you guys can experience the story faster. The video will focus on the character's psychology, the images are for illustration purposes only. So that's what happened. Han Xian said excitedly. Everyone didn't know what was going on. They thought that the purple seahorse was a common sea beast. Was there a problem? Han Xuan's eyes glowed as she explained, the recipe for the blood stasis dispersing pill didn't have the Ziying seahorse at all. What? Everyone's heart skipped a beat. Si Deyuan was also greatly shocked. He thought to himself that this was bad. Something seemed to have gone wrong. The third-tier alchemist was also puzzled, and he asked suspiciously, how could this be? The item in his hand is indeed the solution from the Ziying seahorse's core. Master Si Deyuan has also made his judgment. I told you he's a charlatan, Yunxiao sneered. What bullshit, master? It's understandable that you don't recognize it because your alchemy level is too low, but if he's really an 8th-tier alchemist, how could he not recognize the solution of the Ziying Pegasus inner core? What? Ziying Pegasus? What is this?
Yeah,
I've never heard of it. I've only heard of the Ziying seahorse. A series of small discussions broke out. Si Deyuan's expression changed drastically. He immediately understood where the mistake was. His face turned pale, and beads of cold sweat dripped down his face. Han Xian sneered, this Ziying Pegasus is a rare land demonic beast. It's very similar to a seahorse. We've been in the coastal city for many years, so we've never heard of it. The course of events is now very clear, there must be someone who secretly dissected the bruises dissolving pill and tried to refine it. Because the cores of the seahorse and Pegasus look exactly the same, and the person who secretly refined it stayed by the sea all year round, they naturally thought that one of the ingredients was a Ziying seahorse. The third-tier alchemist came to a sudden realization and said, but even if it's a purple seahorse, it's not poisonous. These two demon beasts were very likely to be the same family in ancient times, Yunxiao said. But now, due to the different growing environments, although they still maintain a high degree of similarity in appearance, their nature has completely changed. Their cores are not poisonous, but when combined with the other ingredients of the bruises dispelling pill, the effect is completely different. Only then did the third-tier alchemist nod. The others also understood that the cooperation between raw materials could be very different even if they were of the same type, let alone different types. Yunxiao continued, it can be seen that the alchemist who secretly studied the bruises dissolving pill is just like Master Si Deyuan. He did not know the Pegasus at all, so he replaced it with a seahorse and developed this poisonous bruises dissolving pill. Do you think that's the case? Master Si Deyuan. Si Deyuan's face turned pale. What does it have to do with me? He said angrily. Moreover, these two substances were completely the same. How could you say that you could call a Pegasus? I thought it was something else. I knew that Grandmaster would roar and ask this. Yunxiao pushed through the crowd and began to search in the containers. Soon, he took out a bag of powder, replaced it with 2 new glassware, and dissolved the powder in them. Then, he threw 2 pieces of material into the containers and said, although the inner core of the seahorse and the Pegasus are both of the water attribute, one of them is of the sunflower water attribute in the sea, while the other is of the gung water attribute on land. The difference is huge. At this moment, after the 2 substances entered the solution, one of them was a light yellow color, while the other was a light green color. This powder is the essence of hard earth, Yunxiao said with a smile. When it is dissolved, we can tell the difference between water and earth. I wonder if Master Si Deyuan has learned this common sense. Si Deyuan's face turned pale. He was in a daze and did not say a word. Yunxiao's smile gradually faded, and a cold air began to spread out. As an 8th-tier alchemist, how could you not know this? Not only did you deceive and damage the reputation of alchemists, but you also colluded with this group of people who harbored evil intentions to plot against the Purple Cloud Trade Union. Master Si Deyuan, how dare you pretend to be an alchemist? You're finished. Yunxiao took a step forward, and his aura burst out, forcing Si Deyuan, Yu Chengshuang, and the others to retreat, their eyes filled with fear. Si Deyuan found it hard to explain himself, and to his horror, he found that his soul power had been completely suppressed by the other party. Not only that, but even his primordial qi had been suppressed, making him unable to make a sound. This was exactly what Yunxiao wanted him to be unable to refute. Run! Yu Chengshuang suddenly shouted and fled with his brothers, as if they were flying. Hanchuan's heart was finally at ease as she watched them escape. If they had not run and insisted on resisting, the crowd would have been suspicious. Now that they had fled in a hurry, they had basically confirmed that the Purple Cloud Trade Union had been wronged. You want to escape without explaining things clearly? With a sneer, Yunxiao took a step forward and appeared in front of the crowd. Then, he used his palm as a sword and swept it out. Song of the Green Lotus Sword. Bang! A total of more than 10 people were jolted back by the sword. Each and every one of them was seriously injured, and they couldn't stop vomiting blood. All of them looked at the young man in white in fear. They couldn't understand how such a terrifying person could exist. Yunxiao reached out and grabbed Yu Chengshuang, who was immediately lifted up by a force. He could not exert any strength in the air, and his dantian was sealed by the sword qi. Now, he was even worse than an ordinary person. His heart was filled with endless fear. He was a martial honor. To be able to torture him like this, he must be at least a high-ranked martial honor. How old was this young man? To actually have such high attainments in both martial arts and spiritual techniques, he definitely did not have a simple background. Tell me, what's with this plot, and who set it up? If you tell me everything clearly, you can avoid death. Yunxiao said faintly. His face was peaceful, but it made people shudder. Gulp. Yu Chengshuang's face turned pale. He swallowed with difficulty and turned to look at Si Deyuan. The latter was already at a loss for words. His bright eyes had already turned into the balls of a dead fish. No one sent us here, we're here to seek justice. Yu Chengshuang gritted his teeth. Very good. A wisp of cold air emerged in Yunxiao's hand, which condensed into an ice sword. He slowly walked over and said with a smile, I like people with a backbone. I'll cut off your little brother first, then put more than 10 of you in a big cage, feed you strong aphrodisiacs, and parade you through the streets. Plop. As soon as he finished speaking, the dozen or so burly men were so frightened that they knelt down and shivered all over. Yu Chengshuang's face no longer had any color, he gritted his teeth and said, You're not human. You animal. Everyone in the city will know whether I'm an animal or you're an animal. Yunxiao looked up at Si Deyuan and said with a smile, Master, don't worry. You'll be treated the same as them. Si Deyuan's expression changed drastically. He struggled with all his might. However, no matter how hard he struggled, his throat could not make a sound. He hammered his throat with all his might, his face turning red. Yu Chengshuang's face was ashen, he knew that this time he was completely defeated. He gritted his teeth and seemed to have made up his mind, he said, I said. But you have to make sure I leave Haitian town safely. Yunxiao sneered, do you want me to be your guard? I don't have that kind of free time. If you say it, you still have a chance to escape. If you don't say it, then you'll have to make use of your remaining heat and perform some difficult, highly stimulating, and heavy-taste human art performance in your lifetime. Blarg. Some of the men couldn't help but vomit. They trembled in fear and cried, Boss, what's going on? Are they really innocent? Yu Chengshuang's eyes were filled with hatred as he stared at Yunxiao and said, You will definitely die a terrible death in the future. The Purple Cloud Merchant Association was indeed wronged, and the person who incited me from behind the scenes was Chanqian. Suddenly, an extremely fast light came from the sky and went straight for Yu Chengshuang's head. Yu Chengshuang's face turned pale and his voice stopped. His eyes revealed a look of despair, but there seemed to be a trace of relief in that despair. Bang! The cold light struck, but Yu Chengshuang did not die. Only the ice sword in Yunxiao's hand was shattered into ice shards, scattering in the air and flashing slowly. He's finally appeared? With a sneer, Yunxiao took out the mirror of evening clouds of great sorrow. The light shone down and locked down the space. With the frosty sword in his hand, he slashed out a sword art in the air, instantly splitting the sky apart. With a scream, blood splattered across the sky, and a figure fell to the ground, twitching. Isn't this Elder Qi Yongwen of the Thunderwind Chamber of Commerce? Oh my god, it's really a plot to frame the Purple Cloud Trade Union. There's even someone hiding in the dark. Is the mastermind the Thunderwind Chamber of Commerce? Isn't this too despicable? You're actually playing with the lives of martial artists to do such a despicable thing. There was a huge wound on Qi Yongwen's chest. His face was pale, and he quickly swallowed a large number of elixirs. He said anxiously, "Please don't misunderstand. I'm just passing by. This has nothing to do with the Thunderwind Chamber of Commerce." Oh. If there was absolutely no relationship, would you kill him? Yunxiao sneered, and everyone else also wore mocking looks. What he said was simply an insult to everyone's intelligence. Yu Qingshuang finally came back to his senses. He pointed at Qi Yongwen and said angrily, "You guys are really not human. You actually want to kill me to silence me." "My lord, it was the Thunderwind Chamber of Commerce who instructed me to do this. My brother was killed by them, and all of this has nothing to do with the Purple Cloud Trade Union. Si Deyuan was also an accomplice that they paid a high price to hire." His pointing out immediately caused an uproar. Although the matter was already very obvious, Yu Qingshuang's pointing out was the real truth. "Yu Qingshuang, how dare you slander the Thunderwind Chamber of Commerce? Do you not want to live?" Qi Yongwen was shocked and angry. Yu Qingshuang sneered, "I only spoke the truth because I wanted to live." He took out a storage bag from his ring and threw it out, saying, "My lord, I took 10 billion medial-grade primordial stones from them and betrayed my own brothers, putting everyone in this situation. Just kill me, but please let my brothers go. These 10 billion mid-grade primordial stones will be the money for their lives." "Boss. You." The dozen or so cultivators were all shocked. They couldn't believe that their companion, who had gone through life and death with them for so many years, had actually betrayed them. "Yes," Yunxiao nodded. "You can go now. Whether you can walk out of the Ocean Sky Town or not will depend on your luck." Yu Qingshuang was taken aback. He could not believe that Yunxiao would let him go so easily, but he was immediately overjoyed. "Many thanks, my lord. I won't forget the kindness of not killing you today." With that, he turned into a beam of light and left for the teleportation island. At this point, the truth had been completely revealed. Qi Yongwen and Si Deyuan's faces turned pale, especially Si Deyuan's. His highly respected status had been destroyed. Qi Yongwen wasn't willing to give up. He gritted his teeth and said, "I understand. You must have put on a good show to frame our Thunderwind Chamber of Commerce." Yunxiao stomped his foot on the man's face, and the sole of his shoe landed on his face, knocking out all his teeth. "Do you think everyone's IQ is the same as yours?" He retracted the soul power that was suppressing Si Deyuan and said with a smile, "Master, please tell me the whole story if you still want a little brother and don't want to perform heavy body art." Si Deyuan trembled and coughed violently. If he admitted it, everything would be over for him. However, if he didn't, he would be even more finished. "It's all my fault for being blinded by greed and doing such an embarrassing thing," he said sadly. Yu Qingshuang was right. "I took 3 level 9 elixir recipes from the Thunderwind Chamber of Commerce, and colluded with them to slander the Purple Cloud Chamber of Commerce." Voila. Si Deyuan's identity and status were far beyond Yu Qingshuang's. After he said that, no one doubted him anymore. They were all filled with righteous indignation. Si Deyuan suddenly looked dispirited and old. He said dejectedly, "The situation is really similar to your speculation. Lei Feng has always wanted to solve the blood stasis dispersing pills pill formula. He asked me to try it many times, but we didn't succeed, and only created this poisonous pill. That was why he had come up with a plan to seize the Purple Cloud Trade Union's elixir formula and eradicate them. I was blinded by greed for a moment and did such a stupid thing. In the end, I harmed myself and others. It's hard to believe. Is this the so-called master? I'll spit. Sigh, who can remain calm in the face of profit? A master is also a human. It's too vicious. The Thunderwind Chamber of Commerce is one of the 7 big chambers of commerce. Their despicable behavior is really infuriating. It's more than that. He doesn't care about the lives of us martial artists at all. I swear that I will never go to the Thunderwind Chamber of Commerce again.
Yeah.
Me too. I'm going to spread this news and tell everyone not to go to the Thunderwind Chamber of Commerce. We should join hands to boycott this kind of bad business. All kinds of curses and angry voices were heard. Coupled with the fierce words of the people of the Purple Cloud Trade Union, it immediately aroused public anger. Han Xian had a smile on her face throughout the entire process. She had believed from the start that as long as this man was here, everything could be saved, but she didn't expect such an earth-shattering reversal. How dare you slander my Thunderwind Chamber of Commerce? Qi Yongwen said angrily. I won't let you off. Yunxiao spat on his face and scolded, you still won't let us go? I won't let you off. Everyone, come with me to the Thunderwind Chamber of Commerce to seek justice. He shouted. Right. Seek justice. The Purple Cloud Trade Union is not to be trifled with. Jiang Qianrong shouted from the crowd, immediately stirring up the crowd's emotions, and they all began to shout. It seemed that women had more appeal, and the guests outside the Chamber of Commerce also joined in the shouting, waiting to see the show. Yunxiao naturally hoped that the more people there were, the better, and the bigger the matter was, the better. Elder Wu's expression turned serious as he whispered into Han Xuan's ear, President, there seems to be a martial emperor in the Thunderwind Chamber of Commerce. I'm afraid it won't be good for us to go there rashly. It was better to inform Tianyuan Trading Company and come up with a plan to find trouble with them. Besides, although Si Duyuan is an accomplice, he's still a member of the City Lord's Mansion. In Haitian Town, we have to give the City Lord's Mansion some face. Elder Wu's analysis makes sense, Han Xian nodded. But now, he's the one making the decisions. I'll just watch. I'll support whatever he needs. He said that if we go to the Thunderwind Chamber of Commerce now, I will immediately follow him without hesitation. This? Elder Wu was stunned and looked at Han Xian in confusion. He didn't know much about Han Xian, but he had heard that she was a smart woman. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been able to run the Purple Cloud Trade Union until now. But now that he heard her words, he realized that she was an extremely emotional woman, causing Elder Wu to feel a little disappointed. However, he was indebted to the Purple Cloud Trade Union, and they were the bosses, so he had nothing to say. Yes. Yunxiao said loudly, today's matter is up to the public to decide. Now, let's put these 2 despicable villains in a cage and parade them in the street. After that, we will gather in front of the Thunderwind Chamber of Commerce. I want to see how they will explain it. What? Qi Yongwen and Si Duyuan were both shocked. They struggled and shouted with all their might. They cursed and swore like wild beasts, making their dying blows. You will all die a terrible death. Purple Cloud Trade Union, I, Qi Yongwen, will not let you off even if I die. I'm an 8th-tier alchemist, and I'm directly under the jurisdiction of the Sea of Soul Formation. If you dare to treat me like this, the Sea of Soul Formation will never let you go. Si Duyuan had even brought out the Sea of Soul Formation, so the other party would more or less be wary of him. But, Yunxiao did not buy it. He sneered and said, since you have the intention to harm others, you should be prepared to be harmed by others. A revered martial artist and an 8th-tier alchemist, not bad, they must be shocking. Also, shut up right now, or I don't mind adding some heavy seasoning to the cage so that you can praise your performance art along the way. The 2 of them instantly turned pale, and a sense of despair spread from the bottom of their hearts. They could never have imagined that there would be such a vicious person in this world. Han Xian immediately ordered, prepare a prison carriage. The Chamber of Commerce will temporarily close its doors. Everyone, follow me. Yes. Jiang Qianrong immediately got to work, and everyone got busy. The spectators were all smiling, waiting to watch a good show. In particular, when they saw Si Deyuan's appearance, many people felt a burst of joy in their hearts. These great alchemists were usually high and mighty, and none of them had suffered much from them. But now, seeing them as prisoners, they all felt very happy. Yunxiao's eyes suddenly fell on the figure of a little girl, and he looked surprised. It was Xiao Hong, who was sent flying by Yu Qingshuang earlier. She started to faint in the corner and had already woken up. She was also busy with the others. She looked silly and cute, as if nothing had happened. A strange feeling welled up in Yunxiao's heart. He took a step forward and grabbed Xiao Hong, then scanned her with his divine sense. Xiao Hong's face turned pale with fear, and it could not exert any strength while being lifted in the air. It kept beating Yunxiao with both hands and kicking its feet while it kept shouting, "Put me down. What are you doing? Quickly put me down." Han Xian was also taken aback. She stepped forward and carefully said, "Young Master Yun, what's wrong?" Yunxiao's eyes flickered with confusion as he said, "There's something wrong with this little girl." Han Xian was taken aback. She didn't know what something meant. It seemed like she had to ask Jiang Qianrong about this girl's background. Yunxiao put Xiao Hong down and said, "Keep an eye on this little girl, don't let her run away." At this moment, Jiang Qianrong also came forward, and Xiao Hong immediately hid behind her, looking scared. "What's wrong?" Jiang Qianrong asked. "Where did this little girl come from?" Yunxiao asked. Jiang Qianrong thought for a while and said, "I'm not sure about her exact background. About half a year ago, I saw her alone on the street. She was dirty all over. I asked her family and she didn't know. I took her back to the Chamber of Commerce because she was quite pitiful. At first, she did some simple miscellaneous work, and then she was slowly trained to become a shopping guide. It's her first day as a shopping guide." She patted Xiao Hong's head and consoled her, "Xiao Hong, don't be afraid. Lady Han Xian and this young master are not bad people. Xiao Hong is so scared. I'm so scared when this big brother is staring at me." Xiao Hong said in a low voice, feeling wronged. She hid behind Jiang Qianrong and refused to come out. "Is there a problem, young Master Yun?" Han Xian asked, puzzled. "I think this girl is quite normal. It's just that, seems a little stupid. I can't explain it for the time being," Yunxiao said. "In any case, keep an eye on her and don't let her run away. Let's eradicate the Thunderwind Chamber of Commerce first." "Eliminate?" Han Xuan's heart skipped a beat. She was shocked by these two words. Originally, she only wanted to teach them a lesson and take revenge. As for eradicating them, that was something she didn't even dare to think about. Yes. Since the Thunderwind Chamber of Commerce wants to eliminate us, they should be prepared to be eliminated by us. Yunxiao said indifferently. What? Heart softened? When they were dealing with us, did they ever think of leaving any room for error? Han Xian was touched, and perhaps it was because of the word "ui" that made her happy. She nodded and said, "Han Xian isn't soft-hearted, but she thinks that the difference in strength is too great. Even if we can get rid of their branch in Haitian town, once their headquarters is dissatisfied, they will retaliate. The Purple Cloud Chamber of Commerce's power can't stop them. I'm afraid that their headquarters have long been dissatisfied with you. I've forced them several times. If I don't leave them with a shadow this time, they'll think that the Purple Cloud Trade Union is a pushover." Yunxiao's eyes were cold as he said, "This time, we'll let them eat persimmons and break all their teeth." Han Xuan's heart trembled. She seemed to have sensed the cold air coming from Yunxiao, and a warm blood flowed through her body. If I could have such a good man to manage the Chamber of Commerce for me, why would I need to work so hard as a girl? I really envy little sister Din Ling.